This is the third and final part of a series regarding this 2022 Grand Design Reflection 31MB with structural damage. If you haven't seen parts 1 or 2, stop and watch those first. I've linked them in the YouTube description box below. Now that you're all caught up, let's pick up right where we left off.
Beef up the walls to secure it back to the floor, but who wants to pay for that? Grand Design's not going to pay for that.
Yeah.
You're talking way more time involved, and then again, it's a Band-Aid. It's how do we know it's going to hold up?
Yeah.
You know,
married to it.
So that's why we were like, no, let's just call him up and tell him, hey, he needs to get a hold of somebody. But it's just so frustrating. I don't want to say anything bad. We love everybody. We love all the different manufacturers, the brands, the types of coaches. But as you've seen in other videos where my wife has said no more warranty, this is reasons why.
Mm-hmm.
We don't, when we find a problem and maybe it's we see hey, in a month from now or 3 months from now or 6 months from now, this is going to separate or break loose or leak.
Mm-hmm.
How many times have we been told, we don't want to know what could happen. We want to know when it's happened. Well, at that point, it's already too late.
Yeah.
There's certain things that can be prevented if they're inspected and caught ahead of time.
I think what's important to note out is when you all first found this, I think you guys felt like this was a one-off, and that it was dropped or something during production.
Yeah.
Since you originally posted those pictures a few weeks ago, how many other reflection owners of that same model,
yeah,
have reached out to you saying, I've got the same issue?
So
I'm thinking at least 3 that I can think about.
Besides this one, there's 3 additional ones.
Yes.
There was a gentleman in Texas that said that he was, again, battling back and forth with them. There was another owner that recently called and emailed. And then there's another one that posted that didn't want his name to be, because I don't know if he was in the middle of it with them or not. But, we keep seeing certain models or certain years or certain things if it applies to one, most of the time it applies to all of them.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, again, it's production. So if it's the same team or the same crew putting it together the same way,
you're going to
have the same problems. Now I want to give a shout out to Greg Carlson.
Your boyfriend?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've been helping him as we've been going through his coach. Great guy. So if you haven't checked out his channel, check out, Cruising with the Carlsons. He was calling me, frustrated, upset. Just besides himself, hey, how could I go and get a new 2024 and have all these problems?
Mm-hmm.
And so we walked through, he did the hard work. I just led him in the right direction. Hey, here's the water, go drink, right? And pointed
he
him.
Drank.
Yeah, he found enough, by pulling off his undernose and finding out that his lag bolts were missing. To, he actually had this same issue that we're talking about in this video occur while he was running in his slide out.
Mm-hmm.
He determined that the first to start out with, his refrigerator wasn't setting level in the coach.
Mm-hmm.
And then the SRT team came out and basically pulled the molding off and put a molding back off to compensate for it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Not really diving in and examining what's wrong. Is there anything that's messed up or damaged? Well, come to find out, the same issue Greg has. His coach actually popped with great force and lifted the floor from the wall. Just separated. And I think in his video, he says it happened by 1.125 inches or 1.5 inches,
mm-hmm.
Where it came up. But we're seeing more and more of this. And then going back to this particular customer in this video, one of his concerns was, hey, can you do a pin box flux test? So we were looking for the frame. We didn't find, that was within specs. So we picked it up with the forklift
mm-hmm.
and lifted it up and down. That was within specs, but we could hear the god awfulest noise in the wall at the lag bolts.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we questioned him about it before he picked up, he said, oh, no. Happy Days RV in Sacramento replaced all those and fixed that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when he came in to pick up, I took the forklift back out. I lifted it up. I made him stand there by both sides of the coach on the wall and listen to the bolts and everything creaking and moving within the walls. You know, it was crazy, guys. The walls were, you know, you can hear that the material was compromised in the walls, and it's going to come back.
Mm-hmm.
And even if they fix and secure the rear wall, they need to dive into that nose. I'm worried as a repair shop owner. I don't want to mess with anybody's lag bolts. You know, we're taking a half-inch hole where there was several of them, and they're removing 3/8 bolts, or maybe some cases not having any bolts, and then they're installing half-inch bolts. I've posted pictures of what those walls look like. There's nothing in them. There's that same small piece of wood, or maybe a hair bigger, and the aluminum is thick as a credit card. So when we put that, you know, when we put that lag bolt back through that wall, and it does this, what do you think is going to happen to that deck and the walls?
Yeah.
You know, so the walls itself are sitting on a plate, and that plate has screws going up vertically through it, besides the lag bolts going through it. And so when that comes loose, what does that tell you that's happening? So the whole walls, the roof, everything on there is causing force up front. Where do you think that force is going? It's going to the tail end. So how did this rear wall break loose on this guy's coach? Could it be the whole foundation that's lifting up here is now banging back here, which is doing this, right? Locking itself and breaking the back wall because the front has been moving the whole time. I mean, that's
valid
point, you know. I mean, it's a structure issue. So anyways, we got a lot more to come. I mean, I could tell you a bunch of stuff that would scare you, and that's not my intent. You know, I encourage you, please go join our Grand Design RV Owners What's in Their Repair Shop with Dustin. I haven't finished even putting all the albums together, but there's like 205 albums in there with all kinds of pictures, from incorrect springs coming in from the factory, axles put on backwards, things that aren't secured, and things that are leaking, and just on and on and on. And then plus stuff that you, the consumer, has shared with us.
All right.
All right.
Well, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.